Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gamansing. Topping our newscast in what could be one of the shortest terms of any designee to the Attorney General's office. Former Judge Soraya Diase-Coffelt, Governor Kenneth Mapp's nominee to the position, has resigned. This happened just after a press conference that the governor held at Government House on St. Thomas. A letter from the staff of the Department of Justice, Office of the Attorney General, have circulated a letter in which the staff said they were looking forward to embracing new leadership. They expressed disappointment that Coffelt resigned. The staff letter stated that there are many issues within the Justice Department that needed to be addressed and that they had faith in Coffelt's abilities to resolve them. However, they stated they understand that she has moral standards to adhere to. According to the staff, they understand that Coffelt wanted to make changes in the department, but that there were some, quote, some people wanted business to run same as usual, end quote. A Government House press release reiterated Coffelt's reasons for resigning, which include a staffing conflict with personnel assembled by the administration. Governor Mapp accepted Coffelt's resignation, stating, "It is indeed unfortunate that we were unable to resolve the staffing personnel issues prior to this resignation." Governor Mapp stated he wishes Coffelt well in her future endeavors. He also added that the resignation will not result in a break in the government's stance with regards to litigation issues discussed in the morning's press conference. The release also stated that the governor has full faith in Chief Legal Counsel Emil Henderson III, who oversaw the legal team and legal processes, and the subject of the press conference this morning will proceed as stated. Well, just before that resignation, Coffelt was just standing beside the governor as they revealed the details of a meeting between the government and Hess Corporation. The $200 million back taxes possibly owed by the government to Hess was not discussed in that meeting, but they did tackle existing settlement agreements. News 2's April Knight has that story.
The closed-door meeting on Wednesday between the new administration and the owners of Hovensa did not go so well. The parties disagree on settlement obligations, including the one on contamination issues on St. Croix. In 2014, after a settlement agreement, Hovensa's owners were supposed to pay $43.5 million to the government, either on December 31st or when the refinery is sold, whichever comes first. December 31st has passed, and the governor is not happy with Hess Corporation's stand.
What Mr. Goodell said is that I have your $40 million, and if we are unable to get a buyer who will provide $40 million to pay for it, the $40 million that are due and owing to you, we would use that money to mothball the plant and shut it down.
In response, he directed the new Attorney General to issue a notice of breach to Hess and PDVSA, to advise the district court of the breach, and to file a motion to reopen the contamination lawsuit. They're also pursuing all legal action to foreclose and seize the assets on Estate Hope, and letting Hess know that no assets will be removed from the area without approval from the VI government.
I have also directed the staff to identify a law firm on the U.S. mainland that is very experienced in dealing with these kinds of matters, particularly as it relates to oil, gas, and refining, because we also have the issues of the breach under the concession agreement.
According to the administration, they don't know yet how much this litigation will cost, but they said it's time to defend the rights of Virgin Islanders.
The people of the Virgin Islands delivered on their part of the promise. It is now time for Hess Oil, Hovensa, and PDVSA to deliver on its part of the process.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In other news, the new Frederickstead Head Start facility being built by the Department of Human Services is almost complete, but the final construction phase is still disrupting classes at the Claude O Markoe Elementary School. And now there's a new issue the teachers' union wants addressed. News 2's Erica Parsons has the story.
This is what the students and staff at Claude O Markoe Elementary School hear every day.
The noise factor is impacting instruction here at Claude O Markoe Elementary School, and it's not okay. All right, instruction must go on.
Since last summer, construction has been underway to complete the Department of Human Services' new Head Start facility in Frederickstead. The teachers' union says it's disrupted the school.
They're right now grading. There's a lot of dust. We have a lot of students with asthma here. Okay, some student even had to transfer.
Union reps know that the new administration is just beginning, but their primary concern is about this propane tank that sits less than 40 feet from the students. Union President Rosa Soto Thomas has been lobbying for answers.
We agree Human Services has to put up their building, and they got the contract, they did what they have to do. The concern is that we have right now is the propane tank sitting right behind of us, because it's in close proximity to the classrooms, and teachers are very concerned. I'm very concerned about the health and safety of the members as well as the student population here. We spoke to the administration on and on. I've been in touch with them. We called DPNR, I called the health department. Folks came out the following day. I spoke to them on the 25th of November.
On behalf of the staff, the AFT members of Claude O Markoe Elementary School, I echo the sentiments of our president, Rosa Thomas. And we just want answers. We want to know what's happening at our school, and we'd like to resolve the issues at our school.
Thomas says she hasn't heard back from the agencies she contacted, but she wants the problem resolved before the Head Start's dedication next month. A DPNR official told News 2 the propane tank is permissible and that it's within the code's setback limits of 25 feet. He said they've instructed the contractors to erect a wall around the tank to keep children out. It's not enough for Thomas, who said many promises were broken.
These two 6th grade classrooms were promised ACs, and that hasn't happened. Claude O Markoe School track has also been impacted. The students' playground was demolished, dismantled, I should say, and Human Services promised they would put it back up, and we haven't seen that.
Erica Parsons, News 2.
In other news, Standard & Poor's has improved the rating of WAPA's electrical system revenue bonds, and the authority's executive director is encouraged by the S&P's decision. The S&P announced Tuesday that it revised the revenue bonds outlook from negative to stable. The credit rating agency also affirmed its BBB senior lien rating and BB plus subordinate debt ratings on the bonds. Executive Director Hugh Hodge said he believes they will see more positive revisions to the outlook as they improve their position with rate cuts for customers, as well as the progress they've made to move away from total dependence on oil. Turn our attention overseas. President Obama sat down for lunch with working moms in Baltimore to talk about how the government can help them juggle families and jobs. Thursday, he signed a memo directing federal agencies to allow workers to take up to 6 weeks of paid sick leave to care for a new child or sick family member. Ahead of his State of the Union address, the president is also calling on Congress to take action and pass what he's calling the Healthy Families Act. And keeping our eye on the economy, the Justice Department is teaming up with Facebook to harness the power of social media and bring missing children home. Attorney General Eric Holder announced Tuesday that Amber Alert will now send notifications directly to a Facebook user's news feed. Here's the New York Stock Exchange with our stock market watch. The Dow, Nasdaq, S&P all down. The Dow 106, Nasdaq 68, S&P 18. Coming up on News 2, he was the most important voice of the American Civil Rights Movement, which worked for equal rights for all. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy will be remembered at various events in the VI. We'll tell you when and where. He was the most important voice of the American Civil Rights Movement, which worked for equal rights for all. On August 28, 1963, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous "I Have a Dream" speech at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. We will share some excerpts from the historic speech and more. Be sure to tune in to News 2 on Martin Luther King Day. That's Monday, January 20th at 7 p.m. and 12 a.m. as we recognize the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. Also, there will be a parade presented by the Central Labor Council Civil Rights Committee. That's at 10 a.m. from the Claude O Markoe School in Frederiksted, St. Croix to the General Butler Park. Registration begins at 9 a.m. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. will be remembered with a peace march on January 19th at 2 p.m. Meanwhile, on St. Thomas, from the Rothschild Francis Market Square to Emancipation Garden, all schools and civic organizations are invited. It's being presented by the distinguished gentlemen of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity, Theta Epsilon Lambda Chapter. Now, a short program in the Emancipation Garden will follow that march, and we'll Hear a little bit more about that on Friday. Now, for those who would like to hit the pavement running, this Sunday Stars MLK Junior 5K Walk and Run will take place. They ask you to register by 7 a.m. The course loops around the Roy Lesher Schneider Hospital, Service Road, and ends near Lockhart School. Contact Dale Joseph at 340-777-3959 for more information. Now, for more than 20 years, the Hebrew congregation of St. Thomas has recognized students they feel embody the values of King. 8 high school students will be honored and awarded $500 during a ceremony at 6:30 p.m. Friday at the synagogue downtown St. Thomas. Here are the students: Rakisha Rafaelita Suzanne Kodagan of Seventh-day Adventists, Sharon Jones of All Saints, Lerone King of Antilles School, Derisa Greaves of Charlotte Amalie High School, Monique Edward of Gift Hill School, Jaquan Diaz-Hines of Ivana Eudora-Ken High School, Danielle Olive of St. Peter and Paul School, Harsha Ramchan, VI Montessori School, and Peter Gruber International Academy. The guest speaker will be Rabbi Ron Hirschdick. Meanwhile, the National Park Service will also be celebrating Dr. King's birthday in their own way by opening the doors of the fort.
On Monday, we're going to be celebrating Dr. Martin Luther King Day. It's a day of service for the National Park Service. It's also a day that we waive the fee, the entrance fee, for all visitors to be able to come in and visit the fort at no cost.
Well, the Frederiksted Pier is closed for repairs. The Virgin Islands Port Authority gave the word. The Executive Director, Carlton Dow, informs the public of the closing of the Ann Abramson Marine Facility Pier for repairs. The pier is closed from this evening at 6 p.m. and will reopen on Saturday, January 17th at 6 a.m. There's a large concrete edge curb that traverses along the northern perimeter of the pier that needs to be repaired. Director Dow is asking the public to refrain from using the pier during the time of repairs and apologizes for any inconvenience that this may cause. Well, what is your vision of a perfect beach? USA Today's Caribbean experts have selected 20 nominees for the 10 Best Reader's Choice category of Best Caribbean Beach, and you can do your part to get your RVI locations on the top spot. Sandy Point and Turtle Beach are all nominees. Cast your ballot once per day until Monday, February 2nd by logging on to usatoday.com. Now, some of the beaches include Megan's Bay, St. Thomas, Sandy Point, Turtle Beach on St. Croix, and Trunk Bay, St. John. Each week, USA Today asks readers to help pick the 10 best in a single category, which can range from food, lodging, and destinations to travel gear and things to do. Well, many of our CBS TV2 fans were watching the Crucian Christmas Carnival parades on CBS TV2 as well as Vivid Streaming. Visionary 1 and CBS TV2 teamed up for those who wanted to watch it live via live stream link. Now, your opportunity to catch the replay is coming up. You can log on to visionary-1.com. Mark this on your calendar. That's next Friday, January 23rd at 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. Again, it's visionary-1.com. Well, the magic, excitement, culture, and traditions of the Crucian Christmas Carnival came alive, and that's on the VI Lottery January 15th ticket. It's a keepsake for those who want to reminisce. Thousands of Virgin Islanders were celebrating, and hopefully you can as well with some extra money in your pocket. With that in mind, here are the winning numbers.
The VI Lottery presents drawing results of today's drawing on News 2. Here are the top prizes. Fifth prize for $20,000, 17759. 17759. Fourth prize for $30,000, 22263. 22263. Third prize for $40,000, 32281. 32281. Second prize for $65,000, 21980. 21980. And the winning ticket number for the grand prize for $175,000 is 00553. 00553. If your ticket number wasn't called, keep trying. One of these days, your number could win. The next drawing is January 29th. Play the VI Lottery and imagine the possibilities.
We Be sure to stick around. Good luck. Your News 2 Accurate forecast is coming up next.